In sales, success often comes down to having the grit and drive to keep pushing until you get it done. Today, we're joined by someone who personifies these traits, Vivek Ganesh. With 18 years of sales experience, he is currently MongoDB's regional vice president in India. Prior to that, Vivek wore multiple hats, from steering sales at SAP Concur to leading Build Supply as their chief sales officer. I first met Vivek at Gartner, where I witnessed his laser focus and relentless drive in action. He's also made his mark at global giants like Experian and Xerox. He's someone you can trust with cracking through markets no matter what, whether selling to startups or enterprises, across real estate or financial services, as an individual contributor or as a team leader. Vivek is truly the complete sales package. We couldn't be more excited to kick off this series with you, Vivek. Welcome to Sales School.
Thank you, Karthik. So very kind introduction.
Are you ready to dive right in?
Yes, and I just realized when you were going through the bio that we actually know each other for 12, 13 years now.
Yeah, it's been that long. You obviously have aged much better than I have, but uh,
It's mutual.
that is life, right? Okay, so Vivek, you've heard my introduction, right? But if you were to give us an introduction that people would not find on LinkedIn, what would that be?
So it's actually pretty tough, by the way, because associate our intro with what we do for a living. So if I don't speak about what I do for a living in terms of work, that's there on LinkedIn. I think I would like to introduce myself as a loving father and a husband, uh, father to a 4 year old and 6 years, close to 6 years as a loving husband. And I hope my wife and son agree to it. And then probably a passionate semi professional cricketer who
Lovely.
who still plays at club level cricket. And I think genuinely a fitness freak. I love to keep myself fit and also read a lot about fitness in general, health in general. So, yeah, I think these are the three facets of my life apart from what I do for a living.
I would like to add Vivek is an exceptionally dressed human being.
Okay. Now you're making me feel that I'm overdressed.
No, no,
But this is how
except
I'm
always,
dressed for most of the calls.
always correctly dressed for
Yeah.
the occasion. Always
Yeah.
correctly dressed. Okay, so I'll take you back a little, right? Talk to us about your first ever job.
So it started post MBA when this was not I was not a permanent employee in the company. Started as a temporary employee. I was getting 5,000 rupees INR as the salary, and that was also not being paid by the organization directly. The partner of that org used to pay me, and so I remember the salary. I used to go and sit outside in the partner's office in the reception. I used to sit, and he used to the gentleman used to come outside and give me the salary, the 5,000 rupees, put in a very nice envelope, a respectable fashion, and he used to give that to me end of every month. So that was the first role, but that was also in sales. So I've never done anything apart from sales. So many times people ask me that question, and I genuinely haven't done anything else in my 18 years career apart from sales. So my first job was sales. It was hardcore. 18 years before, we didn't have LinkedIn. We did not have uh, probably most of the prospecting tools that all of us use today. So it was the traditional yellow pages that was this big. Or the second way of prospecting was going into a large building, going to the topmost floor through the lift, and then walking down the stairs to every floor, note down the name of the accounts, name of the companies, come back to the office, pull out the yellow pages, call them, ask for an appointment. So that was my first job 18 years before. Like I said, started as a temp role for 6 months, and then I was very fortunate that they gave me a permanent role after 6 months.
Lovely, lovely. You got your cardio in also with going up and down.
Yes.
So I want to talk about, your first job was obviously in sales, but when did you realize sales would be the career for you? Was there a moment or a person or a role that made you realize this?
Actually, there is, and I think I've probably not shared this with too many people. So this was probably the second month of that temp role that I was doing in sales, and I had a Royal Enfield Bullet that time, and I was so my standard ritual was in the morning. I used to leave office around 9:15, 9:30, because even if you're in the office beyond 9:30, your boss would come down and ask saying, are you not working today? Right? So sitting in the office was not a great thing for a sales guy, even then, even now. But yes, I think it was one of those days, 2 months down the line in that role. I had parked my and at that time my job was in Chennai, where I started my career. So in Chennai we used to have this Woodlands drive-in restaurant where you
Yeah.
could drive into a bike with a bike or a car. You can sit on your bike, sit on your car, depending on your affluence. You can have your lunch, and sometimes I used to carry lunch from home. Sometimes I used to go and order food over there. And this was one of those days I was sitting down. I just finished lunch, sitting on the bike, and then I asked myself, saying, "What if this was my future forever? If this was my career forever, where I'm out meeting customers through the day, and I'm probably able to take my breaks as per my requirement whenever I want. I'm not confined to an office 9 to 5, clock in, clock out for 8 hours, 10 hours. Not that, I mean, with all due respect, it's great for people, but I would not be able to do that. And I said, if this was my future career on a long term, I would love that. And that's probably when I started taking that job more seriously, saying, if I have that power, saying that I'm out through the day meeting customers, and I'm actually don't have to be confined into an office, that something that probably the light bulb moment for me.
Awesome. And that was, like you said, 18 years ago. What if you were to start your career today? Would you do anything differently today to what you did when you started?
I'll put it this way, right? I think there is still the butterfly effect that people speak about. There is this one moment that happened during my MBA when we had this 2 months of break before the second year started, and we had to submit one project, and we also had to do an internship. And I was very adamant that I would first finish the project, and the project was I was going to do a project on B2B sales. And post that project, I said I will do the internship for a month or so, right? So then a couple of my professors, they also did attend my wedding. I'm still in touch with them. So Nimish and Jimesh, both of them took me to the canteen in the top floor in our college, and they actually made me understand something called multitasking. They said, Vivek, in life, if you have to achieve something and go ahead in your career, you will need to do multitasking forever.
Yeah.
And hence, do not confine yourself to say that you will first finish a particular project and then go and do an internship. There is an organization coming tomorrow for internship, and we would want you to be part of that interview process because we feel that would be a great fitment for you. And the next day, I was part of that. Started with 60 people who attended that interview. Then finally, we were four people who got selected. And then post that, I think, and I'm really genuinely very grateful to both those professors. Is probably how I started my career, and the reason why I am today is because of the start and the break that I got that day. I don't think I would want to change anything professionally that I've done so far in the last 18 years. Only thing is probably I would go back and thank those two people a few more times in my career.
Yeah, let's hope they're listening in. But just to add to what you said, I think when I started working with you in Gartner, in addition to the multitasking, what really stood out is the pace that you set for yourself. So I think that was a an evolution of the multitasking. It's the
Yeah.
rigor and the pace that you have. So good on Nimesh and Jimesh way back then for
Yes.
setting you right. Okay, now
Yes.
let's assume you've gone through this journey of 18 years, and as RVP, I assume that hiring is one of the most important things that you do, right? What do you look for when you look to hire sales professionals?
Right. So first, let me cover the functional part. I think from a skill set and functional aspect, as a hiring manager, whether it's I'm hiring directly or I'm hiring for somebody in my team, the functional aspect is non-negotiable. When I say functional for sales, it's not that you need to know a particular language to code, or you need to know something specific when it comes to a tech knowledge. But still, the if, for example, if somebody wants to be in sales in the technology world, they should have that curiosity towards tech, being tech curious. And I still remember the early days interviews that I've attended. Those hiring managers used to ask me questions to just understand if I was tech curious. Right?
Yeah,
So that becomes part of the functional aspect. Second is, has that person been exposed to a complete sales cycle, right? Either during their internship, or they've probably gone and done one or two startups that they've worked for, or they've probably done something on their own. We
yeah,
hire a lot of entrepreneurs at times. And so that's the functional part. So once I keep that aside, for me, I genuinely believe in trait based hiring, right? So there are
okay,
some traits. I've been a people manager leader for the last 11 years, and I must have done about, on an average, let's say it's about 200 interviews in a year. So that's about, let's say, and that's again, like I said, it across for
yeah,
multiple people in the organization that I would do. So even if I put it down to, let's say, about 2,000, 3,000 interviews I've done, for me the first trait that I would look for is the hunger, the drive. Right?
yeah,
Is this person hungry enough and has the drive to be successful in life? Right? Be alone the job. Right? Does this person want to establish something for themselves and for their family, and do they have that responsibility in them? Second for me is that, going back to the first point, that tech curious, learning agility, right? If I teach them something, do they have that ability to absorb
hmm,
and then paraphrase it, execute it, and go and actually action on it? So learning agility for me is are they really coachable? Right, that's probably the second one. And then I think overall, in sales, communication and executive gravitas becomes non-negotiable. They should be able to communicate that in well-refined words, have that professional approach when they're talking. Yeah, I think these are probably top three that comes to my mind, which is non-negotiable, that I would look for in somebody that I'm hiring.
I think when you are looking to uh, you know position yourself in front of hiring managers, be able to communicate through these traits that Vivek just mentioned. Okay, I'm going to move track slightly, and I kind of know what the answer to this is. But do you think sales is cool?
Oh yes, of course, without a doubt. And if you want me to answer
Love
why,
you to
I
elaborate.
can I can go ahead. Okay, so I'll put it this way. So this is a, I don't want to call it a quote, but this is my own saying that I keep telling people that there are three professions in the world which actually are very fortunate to do what they really love. Right. Number one are artists. Right. So whether it is an actor, whether it is somebody who's going to paint, or somebody who's probably creating something, an artist does what they love. Right. Second is athletes. Right. Athletes know that they have that innate native genius towards something, and they want to do that for a living. Right.
Yeah,
When any athlete starts off their career, it's never because they want to earn so many $1 million. It's because they know they're good at it and they love doing that. And similar to the artists, I would put sales in the third bucket, right? Saying You would never start a sales career because you want to be a CEO of a company, because you want to earn multi crores. It would be because you know you're good at communication. You know you're good at building relationship with people. You know you're good at building trust with people. You know you're good in overall operational excellence, program management. You can get people along, get the job done. Right, so that's probably the biggest reason why sales as a career is cool, because you genuinely, it's nobody lands in sales by accident is my belief. Even if they landed in sales by accident, they have the choice to leave and go back to do something else,
Yeah,
right? So if somebody's sticking to sales for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, and somebody like 18 years like me, it means they genuinely enjoy what they do.
awesome.
The other spectrum is the recognition, right? So recognition, remuneration is when you do that and when you start seeing the benefits, whether it is in terms of the commission paychecks that you get,
Yeah,
the awards and trophies that you get along the way, the travel that you get to do because of the work, whether it is in a bike in the same city, or it's in the flight within the country, or it's in the flight across the globe. I've enjoyed all three types of travel the same way.
lovely.
I've had that grin in my face, my probably butterflies in my stomach across all 18 years, whether it's I'm riding to a meeting or I'm flying to a meeting. I think these are some of the reasons why I would say absolutely yes, sales is super cool.
Awesome. Really good answer. Uh, we're going to move to some rapid fire questions. So the idea is to keep these answers quick, short, and instinctive. All right, you ready for
Okay.
your five rapid
I
fire?
don't know how fast I can be, but yes, I
No,
will
no.
try.
I'm going to push you. It's very rarely I get to push sales leaders, but let's try and keep it quick. I mean, not I don't want you to keep it very short, but very
Done.
instinctive, right?
Done.
Okay. First one is the most memorable commission purchase you've made. So you made some commissions and you've
Okay, so I'll take the first part of the question. Memorable. I don't know if it qualifies as a purchase. I was as a and again I was not financially aware the way today I am in my 20s, and I had about 3.5 INR 3.5 lakhs INR outstanding on my credit card, and I was having sleepless nights, and this was the largest commission paycheck that I'd got in one quarter, and my India MD asked on the call in front of everybody, and she was very glad that I got the bonus. And she asked me, Mr. Ganesh, what are you going to do with this? And just I bursted out with my response saying, I have to pay my credit card bills of 3.5 lakhs. And everybody starts laughing. So I think that was very memorable. I would never forget that, because I think that gave me back peace in life, peaceful sleep in life, and also probably made me realize I should never do that mistake again of having
nice.
that credit card. For me, that was one of those, and the commission paycheck bailed me out of it.
The next one is the weirdest place you've taken a sales call.
Whoa. There are quite a few weird places, right? So, for example, the weirdest places I've taken calls is under the table, right?
Okay.
So, my first organization I used to work for, we had decent cubicles, but it was because it was a heavy, very large sales team in the office, and I had to literally sometimes get under the table and make those calls because it's too loud on the floor. So that is one. Second thing is, I think the most common weird place I would end up taking the call would be on the highway when I have to
Yeah.
park the car, random places, and hopefully safe places, but I'll have to stop because I don't want to lose signal on that call, and I would sit and do that.
A bathroom cubicle somewhere in
Yeah, I
there.
think I've avoided bathroom taking calls on in the bathroom. Thankfully, I've never had to do that, and never had to do it in the gym. But yeah, I've done it, like I said, in the car, sitting in the flight. So many times in the flight, I'll be
Just
sitting and
before
taking
it
a
takes
customer
off.
call. And then, so for me, I'm also a little paranoid saying, what if my competitor is sitting in my seat behind? Right? So then I'm like, I have to try to keep my volume down. At the same time, I'm thinking, I don't want to disclose confidential things on this call because I don't want my competitor to hear it. So yeah, pretty crazy.
Nice, lovely. Any superstition or lucky charm you have to close deals?
Yes, I think there's only one big, uh, probably ritual that I've used to close deals, right?
Yeah.
I think all of us in our life, we have a lot of rituals through the day, a lot of superstitions we have. But since you asked for closure of a deal, for me, I think something that I've had, this started probably in 2012. Yeah, is I would carry the paperwork, the order form, the
Yeah, honest.
purchase order form, whatever you like to call it, even if it's a meeting that I only have a 50% chance to close and 50% chance that I would just walk out of the meeting saying there are a lot of next steps pending, there's a lot of work to be done, or the customer doesn't like my product, or the customer doesn't like me, irrespective, I would take that order form contract in my suit pocket, and I would also carry my own pen, and I still do that. It's in my laptop bag now, and I would carry this to the meeting, whether it's with a C level executive or C minus one, C minus two, and over a period of time, I realized that that gave me that confidence to go and actually close. Like a lot of people would talk about always be closing, the doorknob question, all of those sales tricks and tips that people give you. If there is one tip for closure that I can give, that would be this, saying carry the paperwork. It gives you confidence, carry the paperwork in your pocket, and when you drive the meeting that way, 99% of the times I would take the paperwork out, put it in front of the C level, keep my pen on that, and say, what will it take for you to sign this now?
Lovely.
Right? And like I said, 50% of the times I would be successful, 50%, maybe 25% of the times I would be successful, 70% of the times not successful. But I think I remember it's worked out pretty well for me since
Lovely.
the last 12 years, 13 years now. Yeah.
A last question, right? What is the most unusual sales talent that you've hired? So think left field, think not someone you'd usually hire, and that has worked well for you.
I don't know if it qualifies as an unusual skill, but I'll probably say an unusual candidature. I hired a gentleman from a non technical industry who was selling tires, not even in India. He
Yeah.
was selling it in Europe, and he was actually doing very well. He used to travel to Europe, he used to go and sell. He was part of a very large tire manufacturing company, an OEM, and he was in a very senior role in that company. That gentleman showed interest, and I had to do this interview, and I was like, am I sure I want to interview this person?
Yeah.
Right? And through the interview process, I kept asking myself, am I sure that I want to do this? The only reason I did that was he might have sold tires in his past, but I believe he has that sales DNA in him to be successful in life, which means he has the hunger. I see the drive. He will be successful in life. Rest assured, he'll be successful in this job. He's coachable. He will learn if I teach him. And I was going to be his hiring manager. And then he had that confidence, executive presence, executive gravitas, communication skills. And that's the reason, being in a extremely technical background organization, working with technology leaders, I had to hire somebody from that background. He was my top performer for 3 years back to back after that. And now he's still in sales. He's
Yeah,
doing very
yeah.
well. He's still
He's
in
doing
tech
really well.
sales.
He's doing exceptionally well. Also, would like
Yes.
to add, if he's listening in, he's a great football player as well. So
Oh, yes. Yes, exactly.
that's great, Vivek. This brings us to the end of the chat. I mean, time has flown by, and I think just to recap the conversation that we had, right? It started off from a very nostalgic place of your first job and your first salesperson to you now as an established sales leader. And I think the journey that you have taken over the last 18 years really is testament to the principles that you've had, and I think that's shone through in this conversation as well. I've really enjoyed having a chat with you. Hopefully you've had a great time on this as well.
Absolutely, Karthik. I think it's something that genuinely I feel. grateful and fortunate every single day is the profession that I chose 17, 18 years back. So it was super fun. Really, like I said, a great honor for me.
Awesome. What a first what a great first guest. And we wish you all the success in the next 18, if not 36 years. Vivek,
Wow,
thank you.
that's a long way target that you've given me. But I'll try.
It's targets that you hit really well.